tonight. The Emergency Support Service Center for Wildfires, located in Prince George, is closing up shop for the season. Plus, a special event was held again this year at the College of New Caledonia to celebrate truth and reconciliation. And the Prince George Cougars had some good news as several players returned from NHL camps this week. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. We begin tonight with the sign that the wildfire season is nearing a close. The Emergency Support Services site set up behind the Kin Centers earlier this year is slowly disappearing as the wildfire season winds down. But this year, the site was a test of what Prince George could potentially do with a permanent facility. Cheryl Jan has tonight's top story.
The reception center set up in May is being taken down this week, and what a year it was.
This year we hosted just over 375 evacuees from as far as Peace River, but also from Wells and Barkerville. And we were prepared for additional evacuations from Regional District of Bulkley and Chaco, and even the Regional District of Fraser-Fort George. We actually set up and set down again really quickly for Valemount when they had their sudden fire that was so quickly put out this season.
The reception center this year served as a pilot for establishing a more permanent center.
What we did this year is part of proving that we do actually need a permanent facility in Prince George. So we really advocated with the province that we should be set up early and be able to stay set up through the season. Last year was a banner season where we were up and down and moving around many, many times, and we really wanted to avoid that.
Back in 2017, with the fires in the Caribou, this parking lot in behind the College of New Caledonia looked something like a tent city, as about 10,000 evacuees converged on Prince George. It really was the first test of the city's emergency response.
So we had like 2 additional municipalities folded into Prince George. There were people from as far away as 100 Mile Williams Lake coming here, and the city responded. It was amazing. But to do that year after year, we need to have a facility.
Since 2017, Prince George has activated reception centers every year since, with the exception of the COVID year that was 2020. And the city is actively pursuing something like what Kamloops opened in July, a permanent facility. The city's proposal has been endorsed by the North Central Local Government Association.
Prince George is the regional center. So what we want to do is make a permanent location, like we see in other cities like Kamloops.
As an example, last year, the reception center moved 8 times in one fire season. It was hectic.
One of the things that we actually really notice is evacuees that have sort of been to Prince George in previous events expect our reception center to be at the CN Center or Exhibition Park. And when we move, even if it's just on site, it creates a little bit of confusion and additional stress for them and for our staff.
Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
2 separate power outages took place earlier today, just before 4 p.m., about an hour ago. The first outage affected 342 customers in the Pineview area. The second affected 98 customers on the 3700 block of Lansdowne Road. In addition, power bumps were felt across the city. Mike Kellett of BC Hydro told CKPG News that there have been reports that the outage was caused by lightning strikes. Crews have been assigned to the outages. And we move to Civic News now. We will bring in Adam Burles, who will be attending the council meeting tonight. Adam, lots on the docket, including one that really grabbed my attention. Batman is going to be making a presentation. Is that correct? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, not Batman himself, no, he didn't come from Gotham City to council tonight, but a gentleman by the name of Bruce Wayne is coming to council tonight to pitch the electric scooter pilot program that has been introduced in April, as of April in the province. So basically, if you've been to bigger centers like Kelowna, Vancouver, you might see these scooters downtown, people riding these scooters downtown to get from point A to point B. Well, that's kind of what the pilot program is about. And it's aimed at getting cities to sign on to the pilot program to have these scooters in their towns. And it's not just BC that these scooters are present. I'm sure there are some in Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, a lot of major cities have these electric scooters to help people get from point A to point B so that they don't have to make long walks. So that's what that presentation by Bruce Wayne is going to be about, to see if he can get council to at least potentially think about maybe signing on to this pilot program.
And now another item, the Incredible Hulk is going to be making a presentation about the Community Arts Council. Do you want to talk talk about that?
No, the Hulk is not. No.
Oh, my mistake, folks.
Bruce Wayne is, I could see the connection there, but no. The representatives from the Community Arts Council will be making a presentation to Council for increased funding. And the interesting thing that they will be putting forward to Council is that Prince George spends significantly less on arts than other cities across the country, and even the national average. So according to their presentation, the city of Prince George spends about $7 per capita on arts, whereas the average, the Canadian average, the national average is about $25. So that's $18 less than the national average, and more in cities like Calgary and Edmonton spend closer to about $30 per capita. So they really want the city to increase funding for organizations like Theatre Northwest, Studio 2880, those type of organizations that provide arts programs and events to the community. So it's going to be a interesting presentation to see how they pitch that increased funding to Council.
And is there anything else on the docket tonight of interest to you?
A bit interesting report. About a year ago, Council approved the use of bylaw enforcement officers to have defensive tools on their person, such as pepper spray and batons. Now, since a year has passed since those weapons were introduced, a report was sent back to Council from officers seeing how they liked the new weapons and if they should continue to use them, and if there was any perception, public perception about it. And officers really seem to like the use, like to having these weapons. And an interesting thing to note that even though they liked having the weapons on their person, they didn't have to use, there wasn't a single instance reported that weapons like the baton and the pepper spray were actually used. So that's a good sign, obviously, but many officers said they felt more confident having those defensive tools with them when they were on their patrols.
All right, Anna Brills, thanks very much. We will follow up on this tomorrow and later on in the week, what goes on in the meeting. Thanks very much for that. Enjoy meeting Batman, my friend.
I will.
In other news, a special event was held this year at the College of New Caledonia once again to celebrate truth and reconciliation. The National Day falls on Monday, but the college wanted to hold a ceremony of its own. Cheryl Jan reports once again.
It was standing room only in the gathering place at the College of New Caledonia, with drummers from the college and a sea of orange. Once again, the college is hosting a truth and reconciliation celebration leading up to the National Day.
Because like so many organizations throughout our nation, we have a responsibility through Truth and Reconciliation and DRIPA to educate, inform, move our society forward with understanding Canada's true history and the impacts of residential school. As an educational organization, we take that responsibility very seriously, and this is not just a day, this is a week.
Darlene McIntosh is an elder with the Claitlitonais as well as the Chancellor of the University of Northern BC. Events like this are significant in building that relationship.
I have had so much help from all the departments that this has really become really important to them. And as we go into Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th, it is so overwhelming, the support that people are now engaging in, talking about, coming into awareness, and it's just a blessing.
As a representative of higher education, McIntosh says recognizing education is just the start.
It's about saying this is what happened in the past, and what can you do to reconciliate the past as we move into the future in a very positive way. So it applies to all post-secondary institutions, and it's working. We are changing.
Indigenous students across the scope of the college's footprint represent roughly 20% of the student population, and as such has been reflected in the college's curriculum.
We still have a lot of work to do in that area, and I will speak freely about that. We've really put some priorities in Indigenous education, understanding Canada's true history, looking at how do we decolonize a system that is so rooted in colonization.
National Truth and Reconciliation Day celebrations get underway locally at Claitlitonais Memorial Park on Monday with a welcoming at 2 p.m. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
Local Mounties need your help finding a missing teenager. Prince George RCMP say 18-year-old Madeline Henry was last seen on Voyager Drive in Prince George on Saturday around 10 p.m. She's described as 5'5", 110 pounds with red hair, blue eyes, and a slender build. She was last seen wearing a black shirt and pajama pants. Police say Madeline regularly spends time in the downtown area of Prince George and is known to also spend time in Hicksond and Quesnel. If you have any information, please call police.
And we're off. The wait is over and the BC election has begun. Unlike the last election, the BC Liberals United have all but disappeared, and for the first time in 70 years, the BC Conservatives have risen from the depths of political oblivion like a phoenix, getting only 2% of the vote 4 years ago to now reaching the lofty heights of a virtual tie in polling with the governing NDP. So we've got ourselves a real horse race that could come down to the wire to decide who governs the province until 2028. Several key questions loom over this campaign. And make no mistake, campaigns matter, as we've seen throughout the history of BC politics. Will Premier Eby's recent 180-degree shift to duplicate core BC Conservative policies pay off, from scrapping the consumer carbon tax to implementing involuntary treatment for those with severe mental illness and addiction? Will Tory leader John Rustad, from our own backyard here in the north, rise to the occasion and convince enough undecided voters in the Lower Mainland, maybe 3 or 4 seats more than they are currently predicted to win, to give the Conservatives their first premier since the early 1930s? Will the BC Green leader, Sonia Furstenau, wrestle the stronghold riding of Victoria Beacon Hill from the NDP? If she loses it, it will likely be the end of her political career, and a new leader or leadership contest will follow for the Greens. And here in Prince George, will we see the Conservatives take all 3 ridings that have long been held by BC Liberals United? Or will the NDP or strong independent candidates sneak through the middle on vote splits and win some of these ridings? The same could happen in other places across the province, costing both the Tories or the NDP some expected seats. Whatever happens, it's going to be very interesting, and every vote, your vote, could be key in deciding who wins. As the old saying goes, those who show up get to make the decisions. So you better make sure you get out and vote by October 19th. I'm Chris Beach, and this is a Northern View.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is sitting at $1.54.9 per litre at Costco. The lowest price in the province right now is in Enderby at $1.46.9 per litre. Manitoba has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.29.5 per litre, while BC has an average price of $1.64.3 per litre.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Dominos. Join the Dominos Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit dominos.ca to join the club.
Following a home opening doubleheader that saw the shorthanded Prince George Cougars get 3 out of 4 possible points, the Cats are heading into an upcoming road trip with reinforcements on the way. 4 players are returning from NHL camps. Tommy Osborne spoke with some of the returning Cougars on what the new experiences they can bring back to Prince George.
The Prince George Cougars picked up right where they left off following last season's historic finish, as last weekend's home opening doubleheader saw them take 3 out of 4 points. The team should only look better on the road this weekend, as Boria Vallis, Bauer Dumansky, William Kometz, and Hunter Lang are all returning after time away at NHL camps.
Just like coming to the rink and like chef is making food for you, I think was pretty surreal. I wasn't expecting that. You definitely get treated like a king there, and it's unbelievable.
It was great to skate with the NHL guys. Big experience. I see where the level is. I want to get to that level at some point.
Having the opportunity to compete at the highest level among NHL stars was a great learning experience, as both Vallis and Kometz say there's a lot of lessons they learned that they hope to bring back to the Cougars.
You have to be going full on all the time, and you're going against Patrick Kane. I mean, he can't be going 50% out there. So I think that's a huge part, and I think the speed. I think the speed and how they thought the game was way faster.
Everything is faster there, so you got to make decisions quicker. So that's what I want to bring here.
With both players being Cougars veterans leading a group with younger players, they also feel being in the NHL camps helped them grow as leaders.
The line was calm for Patrick Kane and Tarasenko, so I think it was pretty cool to watch them, how they'd start every drill, and they'd always be vocal on the ice and off the ice, and just watching them is huge for me and a huge learning experience.
You can see it on those NHL guys. They do extra work every day. They come to the room, and they just focus on hockey only, and I think that's a good point to take with me.
NHL camp, of course, is a really exciting opportunity for these players, but they add they're also excited to return to Prince George and help the Cougars in its pursuit of a championship.
Yeah, of course, we want to pick it up from the last season and go all the way this year. So that's the goal this season.
We broke a lot of records last year. Hopefully we'll re-break them this year.
The Cougars will be on the road this weekend against the Vancouver Giants and Wenatchee Wild. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
And some exciting news for a Cougar that's still at camp. The man on screen behind me, Riley Height, he's going to be in the lineup this evening for the Minnesota Wild as they take on the Dallas Stars in preseason action. It will be Height's first preseason game. Congratulations, Riley. The TSX is down 46 points to close at 23,906. The Dow Jones is down 293 points to close at 41,915. And Canfor went down 41 cents to close at $16.05.
Good evening again, everyone. We are looking back at what was a very unsettled day today. Lots of rain right across most of the region, especially right here in Prince George. Lots of showers on and off throughout the day. So we'll see a bit of a switch now going into the evening hours and overnight period where we have a kind of a nice clearing trend in behind that frontal system. Of course, this is a frontal system that was tracking through the whole province and creating lots of instability. So bit of a break to start tomorrow. We will have a mix of sun and cloud in the forecast. Some fog though overnight tonight, and that will dissipate, of course, late morning, and then we'll be left with a nice clearing trend. So you can see here it looks pretty good to start things off, and then we've got this next system. So this next weather maker on the way, bringing with it, yes, another chance of showers into our afternoon tomorrow and into the evening. But the next thing too will be some high winds associated with this system that's coming our way. So we will have some southeast winds, pretty gusty through the afternoon tomorrow, and then really windy conditions into tomorrow night and some of Friday as well. 18 Kamloops, Kelowna as well. Some showers still kind of lingering into the early morning for some areas in the South Thompson and down through the lower mainland and much of the coast, of course, there as well. But we'll sit at about 13. And again, mix of sun and cloud to start with a chance of showers through the afternoon. It'll be pretty unsettled still, though, in other areas of our broadcast region. And cool, 9 degrees Burns Lake. That'll probably be the coldest of the next few days. You will get back into the double digits, though, going forward. 12 in Vanderhoof, Fort St. James as well. Maybe a peak of sunshine and a break in those clouds for Mackenzie, but otherwise there's a lot of rain still hanging around. So as we move across the country, we have some milder air still in many areas, including, of course, Regina, Winnipeg. It's been warm there the last couple, but some gustier conditions in Regina for the afternoon. The winds will be picking up close to 30 degrees, though Winnipeg still feels like summer there. And further east, we are seeing those temperatures kind of closer to seasonal. So sun cloud mix for our weekend. That is when we will start to sort of dry out and enjoy some nice sunny sky returning. So you'll see here on the extended that at least Sunday in Burns Lake, you'll be nice and sunny. You might have a few afternoon showers Saturday, but chilly tonight, down below freezing, -2 the overnight low. And again, very cool tomorrow with rain and drizzle in the forecast. Clear and cool tonight at Mackenzie, +2, 12 degrees tomorrow, a passing shower or two, especially through the afternoon, but there's still the potential for some sunny breaks in there. And then looking at some more rain in the forecast for the later part of Thursday and particularly the early morning Friday. And then we're in for just mainly cloudy skies there. McBride, 3 tonight, clouds and showers. So yes, cold and unsettled tonight and up to about 14 tomorrow. Few showers in the mix. You'll get a break here and there, but likely just on Friday. Quesnel looks good for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not too bad. Maybe a few extra clouds for Saturday. But yes, still seeing some rain in the forecast on and off through the afternoon hours tomorrow. And that's the same for us. So cooling down to about +1 tonight. It'll be a chillier one, 13 for our high tomorrow. So similar to where we got to today, the next couple, but of course, a little bit more sunshine expected in our forecast as we move closer to the weekend.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Dominos. Join the Dominos Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit dominos.ca to join the club.
On Saturday, the Prince George Kodiaks will take the field as the Clakeley Tenay Kodiaks to honor the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Players will be sporting jerseys featuring the First Nations logo as they battle the Kamloops Broncos for their final home game of the season. Gates open at 4 p.m., kickoff at 6 at Massage Place. And during the pregame show, the players will gift their jerseys to local elders and dignitaries. In addition, fans will receive a 2024 Kodiaks team poster. The MLB regular season is winding down, which means it's time for dreams to be made or broken for many teams with World Series aspirations. Tonight's CKP3 showcases the clutchest plays and, for some, the pursuit of history.
The Padres take care of business with the elusive triple play.
Rojas on the ground to third. Machado touches third, fires to second. Out at first. Oh my goodness! It's a triple play. It ends the ball game.
Not one, not two, but all 3 outs. The Padres clinched their postseason berth for the 3rd time in 5 seasons with this stellar defensive play. It's about as dramatic a finish as you could ask for, as it also left Shohei Ohtani in the on-deck circle, preventing him from playing some hero ball of his own. But the Padres weren't the only ones to clinch last night.
That ball hit well to left field. Back goes Hayward, jumping. Wow! Catch by J-Hay. Knocks out a panel. Hopefully he's okay.
Talk about putting your body on the line. Jason Hayward punches through the steel scoreboard to secure this out. And while that certainly hurt quite a bit, he was luckily okay. And his effort was rewarded later on when he hit this homer to give the Astros the lead in a game they would go on to win, clinching them a playoff berth too. And speaking of homers, let's check in with the best to ever do it.
High drive, left field. See ya! He's not on 55, he's at 56.
That's Aaron Judge's 3rd straight game with a home run, and 56 on the year. Will he be able to once again achieve the 60 home run season, making him just the 3rd player in history to have multiple 60 home run seasons? There's only 5 games left, but if he keeps this home run streak up, well, you can do the math in tonight's CKP3.